welcome back to another video. Today I am bringing you a really fun video. I wanted to do a tutorial on how to color mermaid hair, and when I say mermaid hair, I just mean all the colors you would naturally think are in a mermaid. This page is from Mariola Budek's Little Mermaids pack. It's available in her Etsy shop. She was so sweet and sent me this back when she sent me Yasmin. And if you've not yet seen my entire portrait color along on Yasmin, I'll link that one in the upper right hand corner. Today we're going to work on this adorable page, this little mermaid here, and we are going to color her hair. I don't know if we are going to get to color all of her hair in this video because hair takes quite a long time, and I'm going to show you the technique that I use when I color hair. I wanted to choose this one because she's got these gorgeous braids and her hair is just so long and beautiful, and so at the same time in this video, while learning how to color mermaid hair, we're also going to learn how to color hair that is braided. So it's kind of like a tutorial, like a 2-in-1 tutorial, and so I think it's going to be fun. If you check the description box down below, I'll have links down there for my Etsy shop, my email list, my Facebook group, and my Patreon if you would like to support me there. Before I get into the tutorial, I have some happy mail that I really wanted to share with y'all. I received some happy mail this week from a wonderful subscriber, Christine. Thank you, Christine, so much. I wish that I would had opened this and filmed it while I was opening it because I was so excited when I received this. Those of you that have been following me for quite some time, you know that I love mermaids. And I don't know if I've even ever mentioned it before, but I'm obsessed with nail polish, and I have a whole collection of nail polishes. I just love nail polishes. I love nail polish shopping. And one of my favorite colors are blues and greens. If you watched my video where I did a tour of my art studio or my coloring space, I will link that in the upper right hand corner, but I know a lot of you watched that and you saw that my entire space is all mermaid themed. So when I received this gift in the mail, it just meant so much to me. So I just had to share it with everyone. And this actually inspired me also to go ahead and do this mermaid hair tutorial. I did already open it, but I wanted to just show it here. Of course, I'm not going to read her really thoughtful card, but Christine, you have no idea how much I appreciate this. But when it was sent to me, it came so nicely packaged with the little confetti type pieces in here and the little glittery iridescent like ones, which was really, really cool and such a nice added little touch. But she sent me these nail polishes, and I don't know how many of you are obsessed with nail polish as much as I am, but look at these. The whole entire thing, she was just so thoughtful. The whole entire thing is just all mermaid themed, and she wanted to just put things in here that were sort of mermaid colors. And of course, y'all know how much I love glitter. So there's lots of glitter in these nail polishes. I'll hold this up closer so you could see the colors. And of course, I had to send her a message, and I was like, where did you get these? Because I've never seen anything like this. Supposedly they're indie nail polishes. And this one, I'm assuming, is just a clear coat, but for those of you that are looking for this stuff, I'll hold it up closer so you could see the name brand. I think this one says Under a Hula Moon, I think, and then it has a cute little picture of a moon, but the packaging on these is just adorable. And I guess they're from all different, just like privately owned companies. And this one here, this one says Lynn B Designs. Look at this gorgeous color. And this is what's on my nails right now, but it was pretty see-through when I tried it out. So I actually grabbed another Essie color and I put it underneath. And then I put this on top to make my nails look like glittery metallic, but I absolutely love them. Absolutely love, love, love them. And then this last one, this one says Polish Me Silly, but look at that metallic color. Is that not absolutely gorgeous? I was just wowed when I opened something like this, because, you know, a lot of times when people send you things, they send you coloring related things. And of course, I really always love all the coloring related things, but this was so different. And then this is just a little bag that you could take with you. And of course it's all mermaid themed, which y'all know I love. We have this little like, look how glittery that little like button is. Kind of like iridescent looking. I don't know if you could see that on camera, but it's really cool. And then inside there are just these like little nail polish remover pads. And then this one, I guess, okay, so this is man-made by J&S, so I guess it is maybe from Etsy, Instagram, and a Facebook on here, and maybe she has a website. So there's an email on there, and then I guess you could find her on Instagram. I'm not sure if there's a website or not. I've not really looked at that yet, but I guess you just take your nail polish and you stick your nail polish right in here and close up your little pouch, and then you could take it with you just like that. But it is just the most thoughtful gift, and I was so excited, and it inspired me to do this mermaid hair tutorial. But I just really wanted to share this with y'all for those of you that may really love nail polish, because these colors, y'all, look at this color. Let me just open this up so y'all can see it much closer. But look at all that glitter on the brush. Oh, I can't wait to use that color. I really can't. But I used the other one first, and I really love how it turned out, especially on top of just another color that I had that was one of my Essie colors. I thought I had a collection of nail polishes until she told me she has a collection of over 1,000. And I was like, wow. Thank you so much, Christine, for this happy mail. You have no idea how much you just totally made my day. We're going to go ahead and get into the mermaid tutorial now. We're going to go ahead and get started with the mermaid hair tutorial. And I've got my colors here, which are all mermaidish colors. And I've got 2 shades of purple, 2 shades of aqua, and then 2 shades of blue. And my first 2 colors that I'm using for purples are going to be Imperial Violet and Lavender. I will try to add all these colors to the description box below so that you can prepare if you would like to follow along with this tutorial. I've got 2 aqua colors, so I've got aquamarine and light aqua, and then I chose 2 blues, which are Caribbean Sea and Sky Blue Light. We're all zoomed in now. We're going to go ahead and get started. And those of you that have never colored grayscale before, this PDF in Mariola's store is actually available in this darker gray color, and then it's also available in a lighter gray. This one is the darker grayscale image, and then she also has this lighter grayscale image available, and I'm zoomed in pretty far, but let me see if I could just show you the difference in the color. Okay, so you can really tell that there is a pretty big difference in color. So if you're a little bit more advanced, you might want to use this one. But I really am gearing this video more towards beginners, and I really want you to see what really nice grayscale looks like. So for the sake of this video, I am going to use the darker grayscale. Now, when we're using grayscale, we use grayscale as a guide. So anywhere that you see the darkest lines laid, you're going to use your darkest colors. And then anywhere you see your mid-tone or the mid-grays laid, you're going to use your mid-tone colors. And for this, we're going to be using quite a few colors. So I'm going to be alternating back and forth between the colors as I color her hair. But I'm still going to leave my lightest colors in the highlight areas. And that's what I have my sky blue light for, because I want to make a really big highlight in her hair, especially here up at the top. And I want to start with the top section, but I want to really show y'all how to color braids as well. So I'm going to start with the top section and do this part of her hair here, showing you how I go about the highlights, since this area has the biggest highlight. And then I'm going to come down and move down a little further and show you how I do an area of the braid. When you're coloring hair, you need to make sure that your tip of your pencil is really, really sharp. So I should probably sharpen mine. Okay, so I have all my pencils sharpened with nice sharp leads, and I like to use Prismacolors for hair. I don't ever have a problem. A lot of people prefer polychromos or a harder pencil because it's much easier to do hair with a harder pencil. With the Prismacolors, you are going to notice that since they are so soft and wax-based, that your sharp tip is going to disappear. So I'm going to show you how to go about that so that that doesn't happen. Let me get a good angle here so that I can color without feeling awkward. Okay, so here I'm going to start going over the darkest lines, making strokes like this with my darkest color. This is the Imperial Violet. Anytime I'm doing hair, if you've not already watched some of my hair tutorials, I just do this flicking type motion. And so this way I can make the hair strands look natural. And I also have to keep in mind that I have several other colors here in my hands that I also want to bring in. So I have to be very careful not to add too much of this darkest color. Now, the Imperial Violet that I'm using for the darkest color, this is what is going to help me to really create the differences in those strands of hair so that it actually looks like hair. So now, because I started with purple, I'm going to come back in here with the lavender, and I am going to try to go right next to the Imperial Violet. And I'm not going to cover everything because, again, I've got all these other colors that I want to be able to get in here. And I probably should have sharpened this one just a little bit more. Now, to keep a sharper lead when you're using your Prismacolors, just continue to turn your pencil like I am. And when you're doing hair, you want to just go really slowly. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to start laying some of these aqua colors, and you're going to see it really start to look more like mermaid hair once we start adding this color in here. And I'm just adding this right in between where I have these other colors that I've already laid down, all while still remembering that I still have quite a few colors. And as I come into that area that is much more highlighted, like all in here, I'm lifting up on my pencil as I make these strokes because I don't want to cover that up. That's what my sky blue light is for. And I am using the Spring Hill paper, so I'm going to have quite a bit of paper to fill, or tooth of the paper to fill. So I could continue to just keep coming back with these layers as the colors come together. And this is my light aqua, and I'm only laying a little bit of that down because I want to start adding in some of the blue. So I have my Caribbean Sea now, and look how much it is just really starting to take on the look of mermaid hair. Look how pretty that is. And in some places I'm just going right over some of the other colors I already laid down. And it's okay to have a mix of the colors because that's what's really going to make it look like mermaid hair. And then in these spaces all in here where I want to keep the deepest highlights, this is where I'm going to add that sky blue light. Look how gorgeous that is. And I'm just laying this right over all those other colors. And it's just going to give that area a pop of highlight. Now this is only my first layer. I'm going to have to come back and continue laying this color down. So I'm coming back with my Imperial Violet. And I want to make sure that I could really see the hair strands with this color. And I'm going to start coming down here into where it is a little bit closer to her face. And I'm going to start laying down my strokes using this flicking motion, just like I did above. And right here where it is much darker, I want more of that color. And I think I'm going to experiment a little bit and come in here in that darker area and lay down some of this teal as well. And then I'll come back with my Imperial Violet and lay some of that right next to that aqua color. I think that was aquamarine. Yeah, that was aquamarine. I call all those colors teal, so if you hear me saying teal, that is why. So it's important to just keep coming back and laying your colors in the order that you have them. This is my light aqua, and I just want to add a little bit of this in here as we're going to come into where we're going to lay that sky blue light right in there. And I'm adding a little bit more of this just to experiment a little bit. I don't want every bit of her hair to look exactly the same. I want to change it up a little bit to look a little bit different as I come down. So I'm trying to just decide where I want to lay the colors. Now this is my Caribbean blue. I'm going to put some of this right up here and right in here. Oh, it makes such a huge difference. And I want this Caribbean blue in any of the areas where I'm going to be grabbing that sky blue light and putting it in the center right by where that highlight is. Now I have my lavender, so I'm coming in closer to where the highlighted areas are with this color. But this is what is going to really brighten it up and create that contrast. This color really brings it all together. Look how pretty that is. I'm thinking that this hair would be really pretty if I added in a pop of like a fuchsia color. Oh, I love that. It's gorgeous. Let me go ahead and maybe fill in my highlighted area here. Oh, wow, that's so pretty. And when you're doing hair, you don't really want to use your highlight color to do a lot of burnishing because you want to be able to see the strokes that make it look like hair. I'm going to come back over this again and I'm going to try to make more hair strands with this Imperial Violet. We need to work on covering just a little bit more of the white of the paper, but we also need to work on being able to make it look like hair strands at the same time. And up here, I would imagine that it would be much, much darker. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create that look. If you look at the scalp where the hair meets right here in anybody's hair, it's usually always going to be much darker. And then I want to do the same thing right here. And then right here. And again, I'm just using the grayscale to guide me in what I'm doing. So I've got my aquamarine, and I'm going to start adding some of this color back in there as well. And again, make sure the tip of your pencil is fairly sharp so that it could make those strands of hair, and just continue using that flicking motion. And you can see now that we're getting some layers down there, how different it looks. Let's go ahead and add some more blue in here with these other colors and get some more color down on the paper. I'm just adding this Caribbean Sea anywhere where I think it will look nice. And I really want to make sure that I keep that highlight going right there through the center. And now I'm going to come back with my lavender so I could really make those areas stand out and just give it that pop of color by adding that contrast there. And I thought maybe I wanted to add just a little bit of pink, but I don't think I do now. I think this looks very mermaidy. I really like the way that it looks. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more of the sky blue light. And hopefully you could still see where I added those extra hair strands, to really try to make it look like they are actual hair strands. And you can come back as many times as you want until you cover all that white of the paper, and come back with your Imperial Violet and just add more of those strands in. And again, just make sure that your pencil is fairly sharp so that your strands actually look like strands. But you can come back as many times as you want to until all that white has been filled, mixing the colors and just going in the order that you've placed them so that you could actually see all the different strands of color. Want to add a little bit more of this lavender just to give it that pop of color. And then I'm going to come back one more time and go over it again with the sky blue light. Now that I have all of those strands and layers down there, this will help me work on just blending some of those colors together and really making this center area, or where I want the highlights, pop that much more. But look how pretty that is. Now I think that we should come down here and do part of the braid. So I could show you how I go about doing braids. So I think we're gonna go and do this section right here. And then I may continue doing the rest of her hair, and I'll speed it up to music so that you could just see her come to life. So when I'm doing braids, it's just sort of the same idea. Now with braids, you're gonna have naturally this highlighted area right in the center, and I just got a little bit of my pencil there, but right here in the center is where you're going to have that most highlighted area in each section of the braids. And you could see the grayscale will really help you because you can see all the lighter areas here, and you could see just a few strands going through that highlighted area. But let me sharpen my pencil again. The Imperial Violet and my Aquamarine are my two darkest colors. So I just sharpened them because I want to make sure I have a really sharp lead to be able to do this. So when you're doing braids, you want to just look at the section, and of course the grayscale is really going to help you out because you've already got all those lines in there, but naturally the highlighted section is going to be right here in the center of the braid. And again, I'm just going to follow the grayscale, and I'm going to go over all the areas where I see that are just a little bit darker. Let's go ahead and come up into here, and then we'll have this whole section done. I'm trying to change my angle so it's not so awkward and I can color. But I want you all to be able to see at the same time what I'm doing. Okay, so now I'm going to come back with my next darkest color, which is the Aquamarine, and I'm going to do the same as I did before. And I'm just going to fill this color in and around that other color. And here in this area, I'm going to have smaller sections, so I really have to be careful not to go into the area that I want to look highlighted. Okay, I'm not going to bring in my light aqua yet. I'm going to start bringing in some blue. Okay, so I'm going to start down here and add the blue. And then I'm going to turn it just a little bit so I can come back here. Always make sure that your paper is in the right position, what is most comfortable for you. And when you're doing hair, you need to be able to follow these strokes, and you need to be able to turn your pencil at the same time. So it's kind of like a few things that you're doing all at once. And so you need to do it the way that is most comfortable for you. So now we're going to come in with the lavender, and I really need to sharpen that one. So those of you that didn't see my review, I am now using my brand new electric pencil sharpener. This is the Jar Link, and I have a whole review on this, and I'll link it in the upper right hand corner so that you could see it. But every time I say I'm going to sharpen my pencils, when I'm doing something like hair, I just want to sharpen really, really quickly. So I am using the electric pencil sharpener today to keep a sharp tip on my pencils rather than using the Doll 133 like I normally would. Of course, that is what I always used before. And I always still have my doll sitting right by my desk, and I alternate between the two of them, but today this is just easier to be able to use the Jar Link. Okay, so now that my tip is nice and sharp, I'm going to come in here with the lavender, and I'm going to use this to add that contrast we need to really make this look like mermaid hair. This color just really makes all the difference. And like I said, I thought I was going to be wanting to add some pink in here too, but I think with the combination of these colors that it looks really true to mermaid hair, so I don't want to add anything else. And I had my colors I was going to use for the pink. I was going to use the pink and the mulberry and add a punch of that to it, but I think I've decided against it because this is really, really pretty. But if you want to grab those colors, I did try those, and they do change it up quite a bit and add a real big pop of pink, but I would only do it in just very few areas and not too much because it will take away the look of it being mermaid hair. So let's go ahead and add in our highlight color. So I've got my sky blue light, and I'm just going to go in the areas where I want a true highlight. Now I'm coming back with my Imperial Violet, and I'm using this to add a bigger difference in the values of these colors and add in some contrast and really get that next layer down there on the paper and make it look like I actually have strands in the braid. Right here where we have this one section of hair laying over this section of the hair, you want to make sure that you create the separation right there. So this part right there, you should put a little bit more there just to make it look a little bit darker. And that will really separate each one of these parts of the braid. And then I would do the same thing right over here. And then I'm going to come back in and just add some more strands. And then I think I need to come down here and do the same thing to this bottom section. This section right here, I would imagine is sort of hidden. So I would imagine that this is just going to be a little bit darker down here, just because of how the lighting would be hitting her hair. And then I'm going to come back and add my aquamarine into all of these sections too, because once you add the purple, I feel like the aquamarine is what really makes the hair look very mermaid-like. And so anywhere I come in and I go much darker with that Imperial Violet, I want to come back and add my other darkest shade of aquamarine. And look how pretty that is. So let's come back and add a little bit more blue to it now. I think that's probably enough blue because I want to be able to keep some highlighted sections right down the center of the braid. So I think that was a pretty easy hair tutorial to follow. And if you wanted to, you could just use 3 colors, maybe pick a purple, a teal, and a blue, and sort of just lay those right on top of one another and then on top of one another and just keep on layering them with that stroking motion that I used to create all the different strands of hair. And I'll probably go over this another time just to really intensify it. And I'm thinking I might add a little bit of Posca, but I want to finish some of this section here. And to do that, I think I'm going to go ahead and speed it up to music. And that way y'all could just see it come to life a lot faster than if I were sitting here talking through the whole entire thing. And then sometimes just watching it and watching what I'm doing really helps you to learn as well. Okay, y'all, so I think that's as far as we're going to make it into this video. Now, if you were watching the video that I sped up and watched her hair just sort of come to life very quickly, you could see that I was able to continue to add layer upon layer upon layer, and that's because this paper, this is the Spring Hill paper, the 80 pound, and it's really, really wonderful. And this paper is one of the best that you could possibly use for hair. So if you noticed in some of these areas where I laid down some of the darker colors, for instance, like my aquamarine or my Imperial Violet, I was able to come right back and lay a lighter color over it, even the sky blue light if I wanted to, as well as the lavender, and just lay it right over those colors and create a blend of colors. And that's why I love this paper so much. So if you're coloring a portrait, this is one of the best papers that you could possibly use, because you could go in there and just layer your colors one right after the other, and it's wonderful. So now that I'm done with the filming of the tutorial, I will definitely come back and finish off her hair. If you want to see a full tutorial and a color along on this page, please let me know in the comments below. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And this beautiful piece of artwork by Mariola Budek, again, this is her Little Mermaids pack. I will make sure that is linked in the description box below, as well as the colors that I used to create the mermaid hair. And I will see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.